So what are the structures? Externally. Let's do right and left ventricle. Right and left ventricle are separated by the intraventricular depression or sulcus. That contains the coronary artery. It's called the intraventricular artery. It's called the left anterior descending artery. So either way, it's the left coronary artery. Okay? Now, on the right side, you have the right coronary sulcus, and that contains the right coronary artery, RCA. The right sulcus separates the right atrium from the right ventricle externally. Okay? This is the right atrium. This is the left atrium. These are the receiving chambers of the heart. So let's start here. So let's go here. This is the superior vena cava. This is the inferior vena cava. So blood is returning from the brain and the upper parts of the body into the vena cava, into the right atrium. From the lower parts of the body, from the inferior vena cava. Also, from the heart muscle itself, this expanded portion of the cardiac vein, is called the coronary sinus. That's that opening right here. That's coronary sinus. So that brings oxygen or blood back from the heart muscle into the right atrium. So what circulation are we starting with? Pulmonary circulation. Okay. Now, this is the intraatrial septum. It means it's the septum between the two atria. In the wall of the intraatrial septum, there is a depression called the fossa ovale. Fossa ovale. And that fossa ovale is a remnant of fetal circulation, which we'll get to on Monday. That's a very interesting lecture, by the way. I hope you like it. Now, blood goes from here into the right ventricle, and it goes through a valve that separates the right ventricle from the right atrium. What's the name of that valve?
Tricuspid.
And it's called the tricuspid, and it's also known as the right AV valve, atrioventricular. Atrioventricular, the right AV valve. It's in between the atrium and the ventricle. Okay? That would be the left AV valve. Okay? Also known as the bicuspid. Also known as the mitral valve. Clinically, you will hear it called the mitral valve more often than anything else. All right? Now, these are white dudes here. Those are the chorda tendineae. These are the chorda tendineae that are anchored to these little finger-like projections are called the papillary muscles. These papillary muscles prevent the valves from overexpanding backwards, and they keep the blood flow in the right direction. So they're basically a gatekeeper. This is the wall that separates the two ventricles, the right ventricle from the left ventricle. So this is called the interventricular septum. Got it? Okay. This is called the interventricular sulcus. It's a depression externally. This is the septum that separates the two. Blood is pumped from the right ventricle through this valve at the base of the pulmonary trunk, and it is called the pulmonary valve. Right? Pulmonary valve. This is the pulmonary trunk. That branches into the left pulmonary artery and right pulmonary artery on the way to the lungs. Now, this is the exception in the adult heart. This is the artery that carries oxygen for blood. Remember, all arteries carry blood away. All arteries do not carry oxygen. That's the exception in the adult heart.
Except for this one, it doesn't carry oxygen.
No, it does not carry oxygen. It does not. Right?
When you say exception.
It is the exception, right, to the heart, because all arteries carry blood away, but not all arteries carry oxygen-rich blood. This is the one that does not carry oxygen-rich blood.
Okay.
Pulmonary trunk, pulmonary artery. Goes to the lungs, drops off the carbon dioxide, picks up the oxygen. We return via the pulmonary what? What are these? What blood vessels return blood back to the heart?
Pulmonary veins.
Go ahead. Don't be shy. Veins.
Veins.
So this is the left and right pulmonary veins emptying into the left atrium. Left atrium is rather large. So we have just completed the pulmonary circuit. What are we about to begin? Systemic circuit. So from the right atrium, which is the receiving chamber, through the right AV valve, excuse me, left atrium through the left AV valve, also known as the left bicuspid, also known as the mitral valve. Through the valve, same structures, chorda tendineae, papillary muscles, into the left ventricle. Now, what do you notice about the wall of the right ventricle compared to the wall of the left ventricle? It is much thicker. Why is that? That's right. It has a longer way to go, so it's going to generate a lot more pressure. Okay? So now we're going to pump the blood from the left ventricle up through this valve behind here, which is at the base of the aorta, and that is called the
aortic valve.
Aortic valve. And that goes up through the ascending aorta. Got it? Here.
Is it about 45 right there?
That's right there. Right behind you.
Okay.
Here? Everybody got it? Okay. So, this is the ascending aorta, aortic arch, descending aorta, and when it penetrates the diaphragm, it's called the abdominal aorta. It's all one blood vessel, all the way down to the toes. Okay? You got it so far? Okay. Now, these blood vessels here, on the... Oh, might as well mention this thing. This thing anchors the pulmonary trunk and the aortic arch. This is known as the ligamentum arteriosum. It is a remnant of what? Fetal circulation. And the fetus that is actually functioning, and we'll tell you that on Monday. Now, as blood is pumped, you get this middle one is the left parotid. So that's going to go right up through the neck and up into the middle one.
Oh, the middle one.
The middle one is the left parotid, goes right up into the left side of the neck, into the left side of the brain. This one is going to go underneath the clavicle. That's going to be called the subclavian. At the axilla, it's called the axillary. Here it's called the brachial. Then it's called the radial. It's called the ulnar. It's called the palmar. It's called the digital artery. It's all one blood vessel. It just takes the name of the bones that it goes by. On the way back, digital vein, palmar vein. What would that vein be?
Radial vein.
Digital, radial. And this would be palmar. This would be what? Brachial, axillary, subclavian, and that empties into this blood. That empties into this blood vessel here, which is called the brachiocephalic trunk, back into the heart. Here is the brachiocephalic trunk on this side, back into the heart. All right, you got it so far? Now this one is a short trunk coming out of the right side. And that short trunk is going to branch off into a right subclavian and a right what? In the neck. Carotid. Got it? It's going to branch off into right subclavian and right carotid. And this is called the brachiocephalic trunk. In other words, the arm-head trunk. Now, could you do me a favor and just grab that lung model there?
I would thought that both sides would be the same.
Not the big one.
Like the left side and the right side?
The lung model.
I would thought this one, like, on this left side and the right side would be the same, but it's different.
Well, it would be, except that this one blood vessel branches off into two.
Oh, okay.
All right? Now, the reason that's so, let's take a look. You can see it better.
I know, I'm like, I'll get the rest from you.
All right? The reason that's so is because you're going to make room for this.
Oh.
So here's the aorta. Here is the carotid coming up through the neck. Here's the subclavian on the left side. Now, here is the short trunk. The brachiocephalic trunk gives rise to the aorta and to the right subclavian. Got it? Okay. All right. Now, I think we have covered all of them. I may be wrong. I was wrong 3 times before when I got married.
Ah, that was a horrible noise. Show it.